Scene 1, a windowless office.
Read, write, reply, 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 read, write.
How do we rest a tired brain?
Well, we could take a nap.
Sleep on the job? No.
The next best way to restore a tired brain is to have a look at a landscape or look out of a window to a picture of nature.
This office doesn't have any windows.
Even if we could cut holes in the walls?
We'd be looking at the concrete jungle of the city, not the hills.
Did you know that urban Australians spend most of their day indoors? It's time that we rethink the spaces that we work and study in.
Scene 2, a windowless office, reimagined.
Now our office has a view of nature. There's a theory on nature connection that was developed by sociobiologist Edward Wilson.
Nature connection, or biophilia, is our innate tendency to focus on life and lifelike things.
The term lifelike is significant because it includes representations of nature like a landscape painting. Roger Ulrich spent many years researching the effects of nature views on hospital patients.
Window views, photographs, and videos of nature significantly reduce a patient's time in hospital, their levels of pain, anxiety, and stress.
Professor Ulrich, biophilia refers to what we are attracted to.
Exactly, Professor Wilson. But the type of nature image is important. Open, serene, landscape images have a positive impact on an individual's emotional and mental well-being.
Nature connection, in the form of window views and artworks, are prioritised in new hospital designs in Australia and around the world. My particular interest is in office areas and also in the restorative effects of landscape artworks.
What do you mean by restorative?
Well, it's how art can help a work-weary brain. A fatigued person can see a positive stimulus and they can become more alert. Environmental psychologists Rachel and Stephen Kaplan developed a theory on this.
Attention restoration theory. After focusing for 25 to 45 minutes, we become tired. But our mental focus can be improved by experiencing a restorative environment.
An environment that is non-threatening, sometimes fascinating to look at, and that allows one to feel like they are somewhere else.
But what has any of this got to do with a landscape painting?
Well, a landscape is a way that we select part of the world as being scenic. A window view or a landscape painting is a way of framing landscape. Art can change the way we see the world. The French Impressionists transformed the way that we understand landscape and also visual properties of light and colour. A painting is an impression of a view to countryside.
Wait, how does this relate to being tired at work?
Well, that's a question for neuroscientist Professor Ian Gibbons.
Directed attention is used to focus on work or study. It activates the goal-directed and working memory areas of the brain, the prefrontal cortex and the intraparietal region. Our other default mode, involuntary attention, uses different areas of the brain. The temporoparietal region and the inferior frontal cortex.
Do you know, I know that feeling. When I'm writing, it feels like a different cognitive state than when I'm looking at a painting, and also different again to when I'm making a painting.
You've got it. These brain states are driven by separate yet interacting neural networks. Looking at landscape gives our prefrontal cortex a rest, thus refreshing our directed attention.
Looking at a landscape painting is restorative.
It's fascinating and gives you the feeling of being somewhere else.
The core of my project is that people use art to think about something else. The semi-abstract style that I use allows viewers to imagine many and not one specific place. Art triggers memories, it stimulates imagination and allows interpretation.
Oh, that reminds me of when I took a helicopter tour over the Flinders Ranges.
Of course you did. To me, it reminds me of my grandparents' house. They used to live up in the hills. Quite lovely.
Yeah, it reminds me of where I grew up in the countryside. It was really beautiful there. I loved it.
The countryside, huh?
Yeah.
Not so much
Okay.
city folk.
The Adelaide Hills
Yeah,
Yeah?
or the Flinders Ranges
Flinders Ranges.
Sort of looks like that.
or perhaps South Africa?
I can imagine it.
Sure.
Scene 3, the research.
It's surprising how many people study and work in windowless rooms. Over 3 case studies, I surveyed people on fatigue, focus and viewing landscapes, paintings. So here's some of the data. 64% of people said that they were less fatigued after looking at landscapes for only 5 minutes. 62% of people, after only 5 minutes, said that they felt that they were less stressed. Here's some qualitative feedback from some longitudinal studies that I did.
Looking at the painting was a good break from staring at the screens.
Thoughts of the weekend and relaxing holidays come to mind.
Which is somewhat relaxing. I think it does help to refocus on work once distracted.
The picture gives me a moment to pause and be mentally still.
So, a landscape image has the same restorative properties as a window view.
Why do so many offices have clean wall policies?
Companies don't want damaged walls in leased buildings.
It should also be about productivity. Distraction is discouraged.
But the distraction of looking at landscape art is good for productivity. You can take a micro break when you need throughout the day without even having to leave your desk. There's a recent study by Kate Lee from Melbourne University that shows
It takes only 40 seconds of looking at an image of green space for our directed attention to improve.
even more importantly, engaging in the involuntary attention involves other areas of your brain.
Using more of my brain.
Exactly. But wait, there's more. Involuntary attention lets the subconscious work. Lateral thinking, we have different neural connections made. We come up with new ideas, unexpected solutions, creative concepts, innovations.
Those aha moments.
So art stimulates the imagination. Art allows art allows imaginative multiplicity. We can interpret many things from one artwork. When you look at a landscape, artwork, it's not just a pretty picture. It can be good for your brain.